Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Brad and Dad podcast. My name is not Brad.
We rolling.
This is my dad. And we're here to talk about nerd stuff, tabletop gaming, movies, TV shows, video games, here and there. The whole shebang. Thank you for joining us.
We got cool stuff.
We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. We're going to start off with a spoiler cast, a little bit of discussion on the latest episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Spoiler.
So yeah, I haven't been very diligent in putting like the spoiler warnings up, but if you're listening, and hopefully you are, this is your chance to get out now, and we'll look into doing time codes as well. I think there's a feature in YouTube for that now where you can like...
Yes, there is.
Yeah, and I don't know how to do that because my YouTube experience, they didn't have that when I was big into YouTube. But we'll look into that. Anyway, so we're going to start off with a recap, and then we're going to get into some news, hey?
Yeah, we got a couple of cool things.
Some interesting stuff this week.
And then we got our tabletop question for this week. Have you ever died in D&D, or did you ever kill any one of your players? So
one of the player characters. Because I don't think anyone... I'm not going to admit to a felony on camera.
You ever kill a character?
A player at the table? Yeah. Really annoying guy. Didn't bring
There
snacks.
was that one time I knew he fudged his roll.
Yeah. So anyway, that's how it's going to go. So stick around. And we're still doing a giveaway, aren't we?
Right.
You have details on that more than I do. So
yeah, we'll hit that in the very, very last thing there. But yeah, we're going to give some stuff away. So let's get into the recap for the week.
Absolutely. This week we had episode 3, right? This is episode 3.
3.
It's moving so much faster than WandaVision was.
Yeah, it's definitely got a more movie feel and a movie pace to it. And of course, just thematically, WandaVision was off the hook with how they were kind of doing it. So yeah, it's moving faster. It feels like we're only 3 episodes in, but It's halfway, 3 of 6.
Yeah. Halfway. That feels weird to me. It feels weird that this is the halfway point already. Because it feels like they've kind of just like every episode is expanding sort of the scope of what they're doing with the series. Like they just keep introducing new elements and new plots and new kind of stories that I thought I had a pretty clear idea of where the story was going to go, like watching the trailers and stuff, but now it feels like there's a lot more going on. So I'm less sure.
They're opening a lot of little boxes,
which is cool.
It's great, but it is only 3 episodes left, so it does, as always with Marvel, leaves you wondering, okay, where are we going with this?
Yeah, no, totally. So do you want to kind of go over what happened, or shall I?
You know what? You had the chance to watch it earlier than I literally watched it like a couple of hours ago.
Yeah, I watched it last night, 1 a.m. back to the old ways.
Are wanting mostly every week. So I don't know. Give us a recap.
Yeah, sure. So this week, longest episode we've had yet out of any of the Marvel shows, about 53 minutes, lots of credits, but 53 minutes total. And basically what we had going on with this one was Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Sam and Bucky, I guess. Neither of them are really using those labels actively anymore, but they went to Germany to speak to Baron Zemo. And up till this point, we didn't know that he was just rich. He was the villain in Civil War, and I love it because that's very much more like his comics counterpart, and I like the idea of it. Him being kind of like an evil Bruce Wayne, Tony Stark, kind of like a rich villain is not something they
totally Bruce Wayne kind of feel.
So anyway, Helmet Zemo from Civil War is back, and they busted him out of jail because he's the only one that can lead them to this super soldier serum that's popped up again. And he was rich the whole time. He was a baron in Sokovia, and his family is super, super rich. I'm not sure how, because it seemed like he wasn't rich for a time, but they're rich again. They probably have it figured out in the
Yeah.
background. But regardless, he's rich now, and he kind of starts bankrolling them. They get on his private jet, and they're flying. They fly to Madripoor, which is it's a city from the comics. It's a or not a city, sorry, it's a fictional country from the comics.
Hmm.
Like Sokovia kind of deal, like it's a stand-in country, and it was very John Wick. Went into a club full of criminals to get some info. There was an assassination. The contact gave them a name and then got shot through a window. They had to go on the run. There was a bounty. Um, and and then they got the lead on the scientist who made the serum. They went to meet him. He told them that the Flag Smashers stole 20 vials of this stuff,
Yeah.
and had contacted him about seeing if he could help a sick woman who seemed to be the main one, Carly Morgenthau's mom, or a relative, or like a mother
Yeah. It looked
figure
like
of
a
some
mom
sort.
figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I imagine she was maybe trying to use the super soldier serum to save her. But anyway, Zemo, I thought he was going to double cross them, but he didn't. He
No, he stayed pretty true to his word to work together
It was
on the
surprising.
condition of his release.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny that the way Bucky explained to Sam how they might break out Zemo.
Hypothetically, if in
And
theory, yeah, it was
he had
kind of
done it.
it was a very very heist movie, like
Yeah.
Ocean's kind of like feel of just like they're going through the plan and then it's already happened and he's here. Like it felt, I
Good.
liked that bit.
Yeah, no, that was fun. Yeah,
But
that was good.
yeah,
And then the super soldier serum and Carly's motivations took on a bit of a humanitarian twist. She was looking now to get the super soldier serum to kids in what would you call them, the refugee camps, I guess, from the blip.
Yeah.
But is she purely humanitarian? And if 20 vials, were what went missing, how many has she used up? We know she's used on herself and her main, second in command.
Yeah.
And a few others, I think, right?
I think 8 was the number they were throwing around. 8? I think so. There's eight Flag Smashers with the serum. So we have 16. Yeah. No, that's not math. 14.
12, son.
Do I 12?
8 plus 12 is 20.
It's a rough amount. There's some amount higher than 10, but less than 20. So yeah, that was the big complicating factor. Well, I mean, I guess just like to get through the rest of the episode, they got help from Sharon Carter, returning from Civil War as well. She seems to be like an art dealer, hustler kind of thing. She helped them with the finding the scientist and fighting some of the mercenaries that showed up. But talking to the scientist, Zemo killed him, and then they got out of there. And that basically leaves it that this 12 vials is the only super soldier serum now on the planet, because the lab got torched and the scientist is dead. So power broker, whoever the power broker is going to have a supply and demand problem. But
suddenly we have a true market company.
Yeah. But
what do you think? What was Baron Zemo's motivation for killing Nagel, the scientist?
Well, I kind of understood it as, and it's also the reason that he stuck with them, is he is very anti-superhero. His whole goal in Civil War was to get rid of those super soldiers that Hydra created.
Sure.
Whereas they thought that he was going to reactivate them when they got there in that movie. He had killed them all. So I think what his kind of motivation is that he doesn't like superheroes. He doesn't like the Avengers. And this is very much like an easy route for superpowered individuals to stay on the rise. So I think it makes sense that he would be like very, very down with, he wants to get rid of this stuff. And so killing the scientist totally makes sense with that philosophy of just like, like he doesn't want this guy to stick around because this guy knows how to make more. And so we'll see how long he sticks with them, because our episode ended with Wakanda throwing their hat into the ring. One of the Dora Milaje
Yeah.
I think her name was Ayo. I
Yeah.
saw people saying when I was watching at like 2 a.m. I feel bad because I was like, I think that might be a Okoye. And I was like not sure because she wasn't on screen long, and her outfit
Yeah.
was different than what Okoye usually wears. So I was like, oh, is this who is this? But then I looked it up and I was like, no, this is someone else. So
Right.
but that'll be an interesting one. Do you think that Bucky contacted her or like tipped Wakanda off when he released Zemo? Or did they find out on their own and they're like coming after them for springing him from prison?
I don't know that Bucky would have alerted them, but my guess is just knowing Wakanda and how far their reach is, I would suspect that they had their sources tipping them
Yeah.
off. That'd be my
Yeah.
guess. Who the sources, I don't know. Where do they where how much do they play into the next 3 episodes? Well, it's obviously, I mean, they wouldn't introduce him for nothing. So
It's a
yeah,
big
it's gonna be
tie-in.
curious to see. Yeah, see exactly. Big tie-in with the MCU in general.
Yeah.
Um, is it gonna have any kind of influence on the upcoming Wakanda?
I think they have a show coming out for Wakanda, right?
But it was cool addition.
Yeah.
I was lost for a second there, looking
Yeah.
like he was wandering around picking up those tracker balls. Do
I
they?
wasn't sure what those were. Yeah.
Was it Wakanda or is
Yeah.
Black Panther 2?
Yeah. The
Yeah.
interesting thing is the we know there's a Wakanda TV show coming, and we know that Black Panther 2 is coming. And we know that in the wake of Chadwick Boseman passing away, they're not recasting
Right.
the character.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if in the next episode we'll probably see the follow-up. I'm curious to see where that stands, how they plan to handle that in the fiction, or if they will even address that here and they'll just wait for Black Panther 2 to really delve in. Regardless, I think it's really cool. I think what's going to happen is largely they will factor into Zemo doesn't know they're there. Zemo obviously plans to cross them at some point to make sure, because they're going to send him back to jail if he doesn't do something.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that that's probably where they'll play in, if anything, is to take Zemo off the board again after he's done helping the heroes. Or maybe not. I don't know. There's lots of unexpected angles. But the other kind of plot to this episode, to kind of get back to the Flag Smashers as well, was John Walker, Mr. Captain America. Do you know who I am?
Yeah, that
sketchy
was a flex. Like,
that was
come
a
on,
very, very anti-masker kind of like.
Yeah.
He's entitled. He's flinging the name of Captain America around like it's a bludgeon, instead of it being a title of respect.
Totally.
And I think what's interesting too, and I might be wrong about this, but I feel like I remember pretty distinctly one of the Captain America movies, he does speak German, or he uses, like, he has a bit where he's like, yeah, I was in the war, like I learned languages. The fact that this Cap only English needs a translator, he's like that. It's not that needing a translator is an inherently bad thing, but it contrasts that lived experience versus just the title only kind of deal.
He's a poser.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can tell that he's just kind of, he's wearing the suit, but he's not. Yeah, he's underhanded, and you can see him starting to unravel already.
Yeah. So the question is, because there was a small, very a brief conversation between Bucky and Sam about the shield and about picking up the mantle of Cap, and Bucky hinted at just doing it himself. So I suspect by the end of the series, we're gonna have one of the two of them picking up the shield and taking up the mantle of Captain America. My guess is it's gonna be Sam. Yeah,
I think that's the arc they're giving him. Like, this is the middle of the show, so it's his lowest. He is not convinced the shield is worth anything. They're going to bring it back around, but I'm guessing that Bucky will probably be the one to take it from Walker,
Right.
because he's very intent on like Sam is kind of apathetic, but like Bucky's like, yeah, man, I'm taking it for like he's pretty set. Um, but I think that's where we'll see things end now. And this is kind of what we wrote in our notes. There was who's the main villain by this point? Who are we looking at? Is it the Power Broker? Is it the Flag Smashers? Or is it John Walker? Who's the like who's our final face off? Or are they going to fold in, or is it going to be none? Like, is it going to be a more complicated answer? Because the Flag Smashers seemed reasonable, but then I mean, the rest of them seem reasonable, but it seems like Carly has taken a couple leaps further than them and is starting to commit some pretty heinous acts, which seems to me like it seems like the obvious choice, but at the same time, this is a very gray show, so I don't think it's going to be that simple.
Yeah, no, ostensibly it's the Power Broker, kind of the puppet master behind the scenes. But we don't even know the identity yet. So is that going to be the final conflict? Is there going to be a clash there? I don't know, man. You blew my mind when you said it was John Walker. You might be right. That might be exactly right.
Good the one. Other factions just bringing them into conflict, just sort of because in the comics, sorry, go for it.
Well, I think it's possible that it just exposes John Walker's true colors. The way they rolled up in there, what do they call the GRC?
The GRC,
the Global
Relief Commission?
Yeah, something like that.
Global Repatriation Council. I think that was
right. Council. That's what it was. And they rolled up sort of like military state police kind of stuff there. Even that just smacks of the overreach, of control that Cap stood against too, right? And so maybe he's gonna be, maybe that's where it's gonna go.
Because what I was gonna say was in the comics, John Walker and Battlestar, both of them get their powers, their super soldier serum from the Power Broker.
Right.
And so if I was to guess, I would say that the Flag Smashers, it's probably Marvel is not always the most complex, and as much as I would love to see a more nuanced take, because I like that the Flag Smashers are right now kind of like nuanced and they are sympathetic. I have a feeling that they're going to veer them into a much less gray direction, to make the story more palatable. But my guess is that they will drive Walker to team up with the Power Broker, and the Power Broker will be like, yo, if you hunt them down for me, I'll give you super soldier serum. And he gets it and he goes crazy, kind of deal. You know what I mean? Like that seems interesting, but there's 3 episodes left, like almost 3 hours of TV, and they've thrown my predictions off more than once. So I don't know. It could go any number of ways. I'm very interested.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good episode.
It's an entertaining series. I've been enjoying it.
Yeah. There was people before we end totally. I didn't catch this, but reading online, there was a lot of people who took that scene with Sharon at the end as she gets into the car to indicate that she might be the Power Broker.
Right.
Which it could work. It could be the case.
Yeah. She's been, no, because she's living the baller lifestyle too.
Exactly. It lines up.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that, because she's like a heroic kind of, she was on the good side.
Yeah.
I like that she's gone more gray. I think that like her being jaded and stuff is cool. I feel like
she's got the mercenary take too.
Yeah. But I don't know if I'd be interested to see how they do it. But if she is the Power Broker, it would feel very like a much larger leap to just full on villainy to be, although we don't know why she was producing more super soldier serum. It was stolen from her and being used for other things, but we realistically don't know why she's doing that. So that could be the case. It might not be. That's not part of my predictions. Like, I feel like it won't be. But I can totally see the evidence for it. And if that's the case, I would I'd be like, okay, all right, let's go with it. Let's see what happens. Halfway through. Very exciting.
Yeah.
That's 18 minutes
Beauty.
on that recap. I think that's a good amount of time on spoilers. So let's
hit our news.
Let's hit our news. What do you got?
News from the nerd realm. Please help us. Tell us what we call this segment. That was a placeholder.
Part of the giveaway. Just come up with better names.
Yes, please.
Sing us a theme song.
Write
us a theme song. With that tune, you got to use that as the backing track.
Okay, so I get excited anything G.I. Joe.
Of course you do.
Part of personal news from this week, me and your younger brother, we took a comic book and game store tour a couple of days ago. So we hit the city and we hit 7 comic and game stores in the afternoon. It was a hoot. We had all kinds of fun surprises. I was looking to add to my G.I. Joe comic collection from way back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I collected from 0 through to number 85. The series continued on through to 155 under Marvel. And I managed to add another couple of issues to the end of where I stopped collecting. And I got a trilogy, a Snake Eyes trilogy, which was super fun. So yeah, we had a ton of fun doing that.
That's awesome.
And then this week announced, and what was I doing? Oh, I was researching some prices for some of these comics that I picked up. And I stumbled across Lady J, and apparently Amazon has a Lady J movie in development. It's going to be a standalone story. It looks like a series, and it's going to obviously connect to the Big Joe universe, but focusing on Lady J, which in my thinking would have been more along the lines of Scarlet.
Yeah.
Given her ties with Snake Eyes and the Snake Eyes movie that's coming out in the fall.
That would make more sense.
Yeah, it would make more sense. Lady J was an add-on in 84, but she kind of came like right to the forefront and entered like the conversation of, sort of the top 5 G.I. Joes on the team. But I always saw her as sort of this rival to Scarlet, and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got her as her own.
She's the one with the staff, right?
Yeah, like she used javelins and
javelins. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
3, and I always got
no, go for it.
Okay, yeah, I just got there's the 3 ladies there. There was Scarlet, Lady J, and CoverGirl. CoverGirl was Tank Driver, and I always got CoverGirl and Lady J mixed up for a long time because they were released about the same time. But it's got a Black Widow kind of look, or a sense to the. There was only one article that I could find on it, but definitely kind of the femme fatale spy kind of storyline. So anyway,
that should be interesting.
Good. I'm in.
It's interesting to me that's where they would leap with the G.I. Joe, because I have no idea besides the Snake Eyes movie what they're planning to do with the series. And it makes sense to me that they would start to do like a crossover kind of thing, but doing a Snake Eyes origin movie and then jumping into a Lady J series seems like it seems odd. It seems odd because you have lots of other like G.I. Joe, although at the same time, Duke, that we already had Channing Tatum play Duke in a movie. We already had who was Dwayne Johnson? Was he Roadblock or was he Heavy Duty? He was Heavy Duty.
Heavy Duty.
Yeah. So like they've done some of the other big names already. The choice of Lady J over Scarlet, maybe it's more so that, I don't know, Lady J, like javelins are cooler than crossbows. I don't know. I think that's cooler, but
Scarlet has deep ties to the ninja realm as well, and maybe that's just enough, kind of ninja for now, and so they're gonna open up a couple other pathways just through Lady J. Story.
They'll flesh out a different aspect of the military half of the universe instead of the. That would make sense. Yeah, and then you could introduce Scarlet through the ninja lens in a future.
Sure. Guaranteed she's going to show up I would guess in the Snake Eyes movie.
Oh, okay.
Scarlet
Yeah.
will be in there.
Interesting. Yeah. If they already
That'd be
have
my
her in that
guess.
movie, maybe too, that's like
Yeah.
the movie folks have plans for her. And so Amazon
Yeah.
needs to use a character that they know the films aren't going to. But
Yeah, that's right.
that's interesting. I'll have to
Yeah.
keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Um,
The only other thing, and I was going to try and get some pictures. Maybe we can throw pictures in post edit, but
yeah.
maybe not. But Lego had their 2021 series available March 1st. And I had made note of these two launches this year. They're the microfighters.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
tiny little 200-piece sets.
Yeah.
And they've got a minifig that sits on the back of the Tauntaun or the AT-AT Walker. And and they got little stud launchers. They're super fun, $12.99, right? Like it's not out of reach, and just a fun little Lego set that I would see stuffing you guys' stockings with back when you were kids.
Right. Yeah. I mean, those are fun. Yeah.
They were fun, man.
They're great. They're great little
couple sets.
Yeah. They're great little sets for like stocking stuffers or like little cheap sets, but also I would totally, because you sent photos over and I could totally display those on my desk or something, right? Like they look like it's like Funko Pop kind of style, collectibles. I feel like that's a great little. I mean, I know that there are others. I know they've been doing them for years. I remember there was a Millennium Falcon. They had some of the speeder bikes that the droid tanks.
Right.
Yeah, they have lots. If you look into it, there's lots of different ones.
That's cool.
But yeah,
check that out.
I haven't bought a Lego set in ages.
It's time.
I got to do it again. As far as my side of things for news, I picked up the big one that I am most excited about is just came out last couple of days. The Last of Us TV show on HBO is being filmed in Calgary, Alberta, which is 3 hours away from where we are.
Yeah.
They're filming there from I think July through next spring. It's a lengthy chunk they have cut out. That's a huge piece of work. We got Pedro Pascal as Joel. I forget the actress's name. Bella Ramsey the name of her character from Game of Thrones, or is that the name of the actress, the young girl?
Don't know.
Anyway, that might be. I haven't watched Game of Thrones and I've never seen her in anything else. So anyway, they'll be filming there, and that show is going to be. I'm very excited. The guy who did Chernobyl.
Do you think they're doing an urban set in Calgary somewhere, in the city?
Well, that's my thought. The episode, or sorry, not the episode. The series takes place in. I'll see now. I'm blanking because the first or the second game is all in Seattle.
Right.
Mostly in Seattle and that kind of region. The first game, they kind of go across America. They start in. I can't remember. Anyway, they make their way across the US
right,
through some of the different cities. They're in Boston, they're in they're around Jackson.
Right.
So I don't know how closely. I gotta look at it again. I'm imagining that Calgary is roughly equivalent to some of those areas. But the urban bits is I think they're gonna dress the cities up all post-apocalypse, overgrown, greenery and stuff like that. I don't know what city it'll be doubling.
That's right. It's not gonna be Calgary.
Yeah, it's not gonna be Calgary. As funny as that would be if they relocated the series to just the middle of Canada. Just retelling it in Canada. I'd have to look into it more, but regardless, it's just very exciting. Usually it's Vancouver that gets the Canadian kind of filming stuff, and it ends up being a little bit you always hear about these things, you're like, oh, that's cool, but when it's this close to home and it's something that I'm so personally excited about, I don't know, it's just very fun.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
And then I saw Godzilla versus Kong that came out a couple days ago by this point. Same day premiere on YouTube and in theaters, and I elected to see it on YouTube. It was fun. Seeing a new movie is weird.
Right. We've just been getting TV series.
Yeah. No, it feels like movies are less high budget, because the only ones that have been actually coming out are the crappy ones, the ones that no one really cared enough to delay. But the TV shows have been unaffected, so you get all of the high quality TV, and then just like the dregs of Hollywood. It's just like you're dragging your net through and you're catching all the extra. So it's really fun to see like a new movie. I don't know. It was fine. Like, it wasn't amazing.
Yep.
But it probably would look great in IMAX, and seeing two giant monsters, smacking each other around into buildings in Hong Kong. Like,
what were the fight scenes like? Were they pretty good?
Oh yeah. So the fight scenes were the highlight. Absolutely. In fact, like, the human stuff was very like forgettable, and kind of like it almost felt like you're spinning your wheels. Like, when you're watching the movie, you're just kind of killing time in between the big fights.
Right.
And there's definitely an argument to be made for just looking up the fights on YouTube. You just skip through the plot. But like, it was interesting enough to string me along, and I had 2 hours to burn. It's not a super long movie. And then when the fights do show up, they're lengthy, and they're really like, the CGI is excellent. They're well choreographed, and they're like, I don't know, they had 4 fights.
Yep.
What am I? Yeah, 3 or 4 fights throughout the show, and it calculates to probably about a quarter of the runtime, but it makes up for it. It's it was a good time. I would I would recommend it just for the novelty.
I'll check it out.
Like, it's, you sit down with a big bucket of popcorn or wings or nachos or something.
Yeah, and you know what you're gonna get.
Exactly. Like, if you're like, should I watch Godzilla versus Kong? If the name appeals to you, you'll enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
If you're like, I would like to see a giant monkey and a giant lizard with lasers hit each other, yes, you will.
You're
like,
in.
This
is made for you.
It's like, if there was ever an opposite to deceptive marketing.
Yeah.
Like, this is honest, transparent business practices the whole way through.
Yeah.
Awesome. But yeah. And we missed it last week because we talked about other things, but I did want to briefly touch on the Suicide Squad trailer. In the wake of especially you falling asleep halfway through the Zack Snyder's Justice League and all that DC stuff, I wanted to talk about that because Suicide Squad is a very big turnaround from that tonally.
So you sent me the trailer.
Yeah.
And because I'm committed to this project of Brad and Dad, I watched a DC trailer
against your better judgment,
which I normally don't do.
Right.
But this was really cool.
It looks fun, right?
It was a good trailer, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's got some intrigue to it. Like, I'm interested. What did I just say? Like, I want to watch a DC.
Well, this is the effectiveness of James Gunn, Dad. This is Guardians of the Galaxy director. You can feel it, right? Like,
yeah, you could see it totally. Yeah.
You got Michael Rooker. You got Yondu, right?
I know. Let's talk about the cast, like, alone.
You got,
like, finally.
You got Sylvester Stallone as King Shark. You got, like, come on. What else do you need?
Idris Elba.
I mean, you have Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Some of the returning Suicide Squad members, which is I enjoy that. Like, I like that they kind of have one or two. Nathan Fillion is in there. Sean Gunn, so James Gunn's brother, who does the mocap for Rocket Raccoon and plays he plays Kraglin as well, like the Ravager in Guardians. He's that rat or the rote, like the guy who's like licking the cell door, like the crazy looking rat man. He's getting more mocap work than any circus. But like, I like that they got Polka Dot Man. What I love is that, and this is something he said on Twitter before like trailers even came out, was like, they gave him he was like, I'm only going to use characters that you will let me kill. So like, they have a absolutely stacked cast list. And I really hope that most of that cast doesn't make it past the first 20 minutes. I hope they just start. Like, I'm really excited to see who dies. And I think that's the benefit of making such a big cast list is they're
Sure.
like, you can see any one of those people is like, yeah, okay, you could live all the way through, but because everybody's such a big name,
Yeah.
everyone is a target. So I think
Yeah.
that, yeah, it's going to be very, very
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
And it's rated R, so he gets to do as much blood and guts as he wants. That's the Deadpool effect. As soon as Deadpool succeeded, like,
Yeah.
R-rated comic book movies became
Yeah.
acceptable.
They are
So
a thing. It's
um
now.
yeah, so that one, I'm
Cool.
hoping to be vaccinated by the time that movie comes out, because I would love to see it in theaters.
Yeah.
August, that's coming out in August.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'll go.
Yeah, that'd be.
Oh, it's
that'd be
August. Well,
yeah.
we'll be back to theaters before then because we got to see Black Widow in theaters. That's what I'm aiming for.
Black Widow, that might
July 9th.
I don't think like, we'll see. I don't know. Depending on how theaters are looking by July, but I was really hoping
I'm gonna go.
I was really hoping for Shang-Chi in July. I'm
You're
gonna
not going
watch
with
it, but maybe I'll go online. I don't know. Like,
Oh man, we gotta
let's see.
get going. We gotta do our
Let's see.
dollar store candy run, and we gotta get back.
Here's the thing. Black Widow, there's so much we've seen of it already. It's hard for me to summon excitement. Once we get like a month
me
out,
talking about a DC movie. Come on, it's MCU, man.
It's gonna be good. It's just that we already kind of know so much about it. It's just like, it feels like it's already come out. It feels old news. You know what I mean? And I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy it
because we've been like baited with it for the last year and a half, and had delays 2-3 times.
Totally.
So
it's
gonna be awesome.
I'm closing myself off to avoid getting hurt. It's just a defense mechanism.
Open your heart back up to love.
I will open my heart back up to Loki, and Loki only.
Yes.
That show is going to be genuinely. I'm excited.
Gonna be fun.
That one's going to be bonkers because it's got the same length as Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So it's 6 episodes. Right. It's going to move at the same clip, but it's going to be as weird as WandaVision.
Yeah.
With the time travel and stuff.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hit table talk.
Let's hit table talk. So, character death. When you're playing tabletop RPGs, Dungeons and Dragons, etc., there is always the risk of death. Your character can be reduced to 0 hit points and fail 3 death saves, or I don't know, fail 1 death save. I don't know how brutal when you played it was. Like, you hit 0 and you're gone for good. I don't know, but basically, it is a risk, and we wanted to kind of go back and forth. Who have you lost and who have you killed? Let's do some. Let's work through it.
Most of my experience has been on this side of the DM screen. So I've DM'd more games than I've played. Characters that I look back on that I played, I never lost a character, but I never really got too far with characters either. I think my highest level character might have been level 5 or 6.
Okay.
And that was it, and they survived fine. But as a DM. There was definitely always a feeling, and we played mostly under 2nd edition rules,
right?
And we had to introduce you reduce to 0, you go to unconscious, and you're bleeding out at a rate of 1 hit point every round. Right. So within 10 rounds, you're down to -10 hit points, which is death. So that was kind of our rules. Yeah. And I was never hesitant to let a character go to 0 for sure. Mm-hmm. And once they started bleeding out, I didn't get nervous till it was about 4 or 5 points down from 0. Right. And then after that, as a DM, I would definitely protect my characters as much as I could without being blatant about it.
Yeah.
And we had fun characters that I never wanted to kill because you just get attached to them. Even as a DM, you want to see them succeed, right? Mm-hmm. So I definitely kept characters alive a couple of times, but nobody really got legitimately killed in any of my campaigns.
Right. Yeah. So as far as the -10 hit points thing, I'm curious, if you took a hit, if an enemy did come up and swing, did you still roll damage and add that? He did 1d6 plus 2. It was 6 damage and you were at -4, so you're at -10 and you're dead. Like that, the calculation.
Yeah, you could have been slain on the ground. Yeah.
So that's harsher in some ways than 5e, but also if no enemy is targeting you, 10 rounds before you go down is so much time.
Yeah, it can be a long time.
That's because in 5e, when you hit 0, you begin doing death saves, which is just a d20 roll. It's a 50-50 basically,
Right.
where on your turn, instead of doing anything, you roll a d20. Below 10, you fail a death save. Above 10, you succeed. And you have 3 of each. And if you reach 3 failed saves, you die.
Right.
If you reach 3 succeeded saves,
Yeah.
pop up to, well, you're unconscious, but you're stabilized at 0 hit
I like
points.
it.
And then crits and crit fails will be 2 failures or 2 successes.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And if an enemy hits you, it's just an automatic failed death save, no matter what the damage. So, although if you're prone because you're down, you're likely on the ground. It's an automatic critical hit, which means that you fail 2 saves. So there's lots of room to, like, if you're left alone, it's kind of like you have a decent chance, but you can die really quickly if enemies start wailing on you.
Sure, if they come after you.
Yeah.
Kicking a guy while they're down.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I think, largely where the GM aspect comes in, where they can go down. But your enemies, it would be up to your enemies to, like, okay, it's no longer a threat. They're unconscious. To go after the other people and let them kind of either get healed or luck of the draw with the death saves. Plus there's revive rules and stuff. Once you're level 5 or 6, like, you have access to revivify and, like, magic that can, so it becomes tough to kill players. I've lost one character. You've probably heard this story. I lost one character in high school. It was 3.5 we were playing, but, like, not like actual 3.5. Like, we were kind of using it, but it was pretty loose. I missed a day of school. I can't remember why. I might have been sick. I might have just, like, not felt like going or some kind of, whatever. And I came back the next day, and my DM, my friend Bruce, he was like, "Oh, by the way, the campaign's over and you're dead."
Bruce, that's lame, man. That's a well, how are you gonna do a brother when he misses school and you just go off his character?
This is what happened. Was, first of all, as a preface, Bruce was aware that he had not built this campaign to last, and we were already far too powerful. And it was kind of an understanding that there wasn't much more to do because we were just going to steamroll everything. And so I didn't mind that aspect. It made sense. But effectively what happened was we were in a dungeon, and we had a fighter, and we got into a room. There was a chest in the middle of the room, and our fighter decided to go up and open the chest. Inside the chest was a sword. And before anyone could be like, wait, let's identify it. Wait, let's, like, it might be, a cursed sword or something. He picked it up. It was a cursed sword. So it possessed him, and he spun around and just cleaved my guy in half, like, down the middle, just like he was instant dead. So probably not rules as written, but I think this was just the DM taking a chance to get rid of the party. He went berserk on the rest of the party. They tried to fight him, and then a god showed up and, like, tried to zap everyone out of existence, and the one guy teleported away, and he was the only one who survived. The rest of us got smote by a god.
All right.
And I missed one session of, like, an hour-long block over break.
You can't miss a session, man. Not when you're playing at that level.
I'm afraid to. I've been scarred. But do we count non-D&D?
I've definitely tried to make an example out of players.
Right. Yeah, you got to scare them a bit.
I want them to. Yeah, they got to get the gravity of the, the realm, the situation, whatever, right? Like, I don't want
absolutely
thinking that this is just going to be a cakewalk.
Yeah,
that was a little harder than I intended.
yeah, it's hard to get that balance where it's, like, scary but not lethal.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we count non-D&D? Are we gonna?
Oh, sure. I mean,
because last year or so, they've come out with the Alien RPG, Alien role-playing game. Alien films are not known for their mollycoddling. I've run it a number of times. They're just, like, one-shots, basically. You do a one-shot that's like the movies.
No,
and
if you're cast into an Alien film, it's chances are.
I I think I have a body count in that of, I want to say 9 characters.
Yeah.
Because I had, so part of my prep for that game, part of it was like prepping the maps, prepping the, the monsters, whatever. The majority of my prep was building new pre-generated characters for them to play. Behind the DM screen, I had a stack of backup characters. I'm like, all right, here you go. Pick from this.
Here's your new one.
Here's your new guy, and he pops in, and then there was a drunken businessman in a bar that like stumbled out, not knowing the aliens were attacking. There was like a mechanic. There was a madman with just his only item was like several knives. Like, bonkers game. But I've definitely killed a lot there. In D&D, I've killed 3 characters, but they were brought back. It was part of a storyline. Like, they were intentionally supposed to die to solve like there was like a device they needed to fix to bring them back. It was so not really a death, but by definition, they technically did die. It's one of those things that's, and I think that the takeaway is generally, like, whether you're killing characters or you're dying, you want it to be a lesson. You don't want it to be BS, right? Like, and I think like you're right on the money is DMs want to make sure the characters know it's not a cakewalk.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone should be gunning to kill their characters unless that's what the campaign's about. It's best when it's like, if it happens, it happens. But everybody has a chance to kind of get like to smarten up. And if they're playing smart, they can get out of it. And that's the lesson. That's the Aesop.
That's right.
I think.
That's
a good time. It's a good time. Cool. Well, that's about 45 minutes almost on the dot here.
Let's land it.
Let's land it. Giveaway.
Yeah, so we're gonna give away a copy of Candlekeep Mysteries. I actually had it in my hands this week when we did our game and comic book store tour, and I had a good look at it. Super nice, artwork's great.
Excellent book.
Really laid out. I liked some of the adventures. I saw some fun ones in there. So all you got to do is find us here on our YouTube channel. You can just go to bradanddad.com. And that'll take you right to our YouTube channel, and just subscribe there and make a comment on one of the videos so we know who we're talking to, and we'll choose one of those to give a copy of Candlekeep Mysteries to, and I'm just going to ship it right to your address. Super simple.
Yeah.
You can follow us on any of the socials. We got Instagram at Brad and Dad, Facebook and Twitter. Twitter's weird because Brad and Dad is a suspended account. Somebody else burned that name already. So we got Brad and Dad podcast on Twitter and Facebook. So you can find us in those spots, but you can always just get it to us through the website, bradanddad.com. That'll take you to the YouTube channel. So
ladies and gentlemen, we are here for you. We are here for you. Put in the comments how many characters you've lost and how many characters you've killed.
Yeah.
This is a confessional. This is a safe space. You can let it out.
Yeah.
And we can tell you, and we can tell you how you could have survived. We'll backseat and play for you. We'll we'll mansplain the situation away. But otherwise that is the podcast. Lovely talking to you guys. Make sure to do all that, like and subscribe so you can get the free book, and also so you can keep listening to our wonderful voices. We will be back next week with another episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier and some new news and a brand new topic that we haven't thought of yet, but I'm sure we'll sort her out.
I got it. I got the topic.
Okay, yeah.
Let's do it. I want to do a D&D MCU crossover.
Okay.
What is Captain America's alignment? What is Bucky's alignment? And what's Sam's alignment? And who fits best into the shield?
And who?
We're going to use
what
D&D
classes are
they?
they? I think that's a fun question too. Like, what classes
and alignment?
What class is Cap? What class is Iron Man? Yeah, we'll go into it. But look forward to that, and we will catch you guys next week. Have a good one. Take care.
Peace, y'all.